Welcome back everyone, it's Louis Crypto here. Today we're going to discuss whether $60 per Quant token could be a reality. We're going to first start off with the lower time frame and we'll get into that. If you didn't watch my update from yesterday, please go ahead and watch that first. It's very important. We did briefly touch on that, the targets to the downside, but yeah, we'll look into further detail on whether $60 is an actual reality for Quant. Could it even go lower than that? I want to know your thoughts in the comment section below. So before we just get going, please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. It really does help the algorithm. YouTube loves the engagement. If you could also share this video, especially the last one. Last one was very important, guys. I do urge you to go ahead and watch that. So we were then suggesting over the past week, for the whole of this week, that if this $84.80 level is lost, we're going to be seeing $80 to $82 as our targets to the downside. However, what has happened here is bullish divergence has stepped in. It is very important to use these indicators in points of reversals, guys. And what we saw over here, we were at a key level of support. If it had appeared, this would have been great, but the trick was in the chart. It was fooling us. You had a dump below, had a 4-hour closure below, then we need to hold it as resistance to continue lower. However, we can see in that direct next 4-hour candle, we reclaimed this key level of support, essentially giving us at least a short-term rally back into key levels of resistance. And if it fails to reclaim those levels of resistance, we do eventually continue lower regardless. However, with this, the reasoning is this bullish divergence, and we are at a point of reversal being support. Yes, it was lost, but only on the loss of the support, which would then, for breakout traders that are trying to front run the market, are getting caught out. This is why we like to be pullback traders and try to see if this is actually going to hold as resistance rather than just entering shorts the moment is being lost. We then need to see if there are any divergences at play, which would be a disagreement from the chart and the indicator. The chart is screaming that this should continue lower, where the indicator is actually saying, hold up, the momentum is actually creeping back up to the upside. The money that is coming in to the bears is dying off. Essentially, we're now seeing money coming in while this is coming down. So the chart is trying to fool you, where this indicator is actually trying to help you out and tell you the truth. And as it's at a point of reversal, and we've now seen the disagreement with the lower lows and here the higher lows, this is essentially bullish divergence, giving us at least a short-term rally back into those key levels of resistance. And the way we got these targets to the downside is by measuring this wave up over here within this downtrend. And this is going to show us the key levels of support that we would need to hold when we do come down for continuation to the upside. However, if in any time you turn this all into resistance, as you can see over here, we then continue lower to these targets. Now, we had the bullish divergence playing out over here, but we are still below this key level of resistance. You can see that we're actually holding what was once support right here, again, as resistance on multiple occasions. So even if we push through this level, this then becomes the support, and what becomes the resistance is up here. And even if we manage to get up all the way up until $89, this would not be changing the trend into an uptrend, guys. We need to reclaim $89 as well as taking out this 200 EMA and confirming its support. So even if this bullish divergence, as we can see, is playing out, even if it does continue to do so, I'm still expecting eventually for us to start dumping down. I'm showing you where the highest point would be to keep this bearish, but it's not necessarily where we're coming to. This is just the highest point until things start to change, things start to look positive. Again, we would be coming back up to this resistance. I think by the point we get up there, this would have dragged down a little bit for essentially suggesting that this is that level that needs to be broken. We didn't need the 200 EMA. It's just like a second confirmation that it's in line with this 0.5 Fibonacci at $88. So you need a reclaim of that as well as the 200 EMA to flip this bullish. However, even before this level of resistance over here, we can see the 20 and the 55 moving average sitting beneath the 6.5 Fibonacci. So the reality is, guys, this bullish momentum that we're getting right now could just be short term, and then we still continue lower. Even if we push through the moving averages over here, you've got that level slightly above between these points over here. So I would still look for topping out for Quant to top out within this area, and then looking for reversals. I'm not sure if I mentioned already, but please do. Oh no, I think I have. But yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share. Again, it really does help the channel grow. We're on the road to 7K. Let's get there as quick as possible. And the only way is by getting engagement on these videos. That's how YouTube knows that you are enjoying it, and that they will bring more eyes towards the channel. So with those failures of reclaiming that 200 EMA, the expectation is that we do continue lower. And so already we are seeing potential targets beyond the $80 to $82 region that I just suggested. In fact, as long as we now maintain below the 200 4-hour EMA, as well as $88, $89, eventually, no matter how many times we come into this area, as long as it fails to reclaim it, as long as it maintains as resistance, price will eventually come down all the way and meet these final sets of targets at $74 to $77. And in yesterday's videos, we were talking about this $75 price target down here. However, we were looking on much larger time frames. We didn't actually scale down to the 4-hour and look at the day-to-day moves. We were just suggesting that eventually, with the loss of this, and of course failing to reclaim that, we will eventually continue down to those targets. Now I'm going to now zoom out a little bit and show you whether $60 is a reality. So please do stay tuned. We're going to go through that with you right now. So as you can see, there are also already some fibs on the chart. Now we just showed you that $74 to $77 is a target. We've drawn out $75 very nicely, as we can see back in July of last year, when we had this amazing pump from the $50 area down here. We reclaimed this previous level of resistance and then confirmed it as support with that wick at exactly $75. So this is a nice psychological level of support. So this is why we could be getting at least a short-term bounce over here. So that would be this area over here. But as you can see, what we were struggling to lose for around a year now was this level of $94 to $100. And every single time we came into the support over here and over here, this was a time to DCA. And of course, I was always suggesting that if any point in time we do continue to the targets down at $75 to $80, any price below 100, and I've just mentioned those $74 to $80, would be a great long-term investment. In fact, even at this point over here, it's a great long-term investment, guys, because the all-time high was $400. So almost a 400% return over here, back up to the high. And from current price, yes. And if we continue lower, even greater. So from current price right now, this is pretty much a 400% return as we get back to the all-time high. And we are, of course, if you followed along with my video yesterday, expecting much higher than this point. In fact, my minimal target is about $700 to $800. So about $700, this would be a gain of 700%. And over here, a gain of about 850% over here as our minimal target for Quant. And again, guys, the deeper we go down, the higher the targets become. And so don't worry if you were accumulating this area. It's good for the long term. But the reason why I was pointing this out for you guys is as we meet these targets down here, we're then stuck between this as our support and this is our resistance. So we might get some humongous bounce. But as we are yet to see such a large dump from this area, we're just in that beginning process. You can see that we created this wick, but we're yet to lose it. And on the loss of that, that's where we continue this crash. And when we do meet this final set targets, we will get a relief rally. Whether it's just back to $85 or we do get a pump closer to 94 to 100, then I do expect potentially one final push. If this 77, it will have a chance basically to lose this $75 region, and then our next layer of support would be our final layer of defense to keep this bullish, technically speaking, as $60 down here is that 786 fib where we once saw previous resistance turning into support. And this $75 area, there's a lot of things pointing at this. This is where we're coming into now. But as you can see, it's the resistance. So again, support, resistance, resistance. But what I need to make you guys aware of, again, the $75 is the top of this purple box over here. And why we're zooming into this area over here is quite important, because how I like to view the market is in swing highs and swing lows. And so when we pushed out of this range over here, we created a swing high. And then slightly below over here, when we made the higher low, this is called a swing low. So in points of time where we come back to this swing high, now as a swing low, so resistance flipping into support, if this support is then lost, you dump down to this level over here. And we can see we found support on the resistance. We had a little relief rally. And once that swing high was lost, we returned to the swing low. And we can see this support was lost. We came down to here. Go to the left, that's the swing low. So lose the swing high, we go to swing low. And that's why I want to show you this today, and how $60 could be a possibility or a reality. And so I'm not waiting on that. I've got limit orders set there, but I'm not waiting on. I'm going to get in at about 75. I mentioned this in yesterday's update. And so that is why, if this is to fail, you go fail to hold the resistance as support. We saw that over here. You fall to the swing low. That's where we fell to over here. And so that would be in the same scenario over here. Lose this support, we go to the support below at around $60. So that is why, if we hit these targets, get this relief rally and fail to reclaim $100, there's a big chance that we get one more push down. I want to know your thoughts in the comment section below, because I'm seeing some people calling for $20. I personally think it's way too early to call for crazy price targets to the downside like that. You need to lose $60 to even have a chance, little chance of that to be the case. There's a lot of support in this area. And again, as I've just explained, the range high is where we're, of this purple box, the top of it is where we're expecting to find support. It's our golden pocket. However, as this is a large area of support, potentially a $20 area of support, if we were to ever lose the top band as support, it then flips into resistance, and the lower level of this area of this box becomes the support at $60. So I hope you guys found value in today's video. It might have been a little bit of a long one, just like yesterday's. If you haven't watched yesterday's, please go over there. So it brought a lot of detail, but today we'll more focus on like the lower time frames and that bullish divergence coming into play, potentially giving us that bounce. But as long as we maintain below $89, we do expect that continuation lower. I've got one more slot at the moment on my one-to-one mentorship plan. So please, over the weekend, if you wanted me to teach you one-to-one over video calls, whether it's 5 or 10 hours of sessions, I will throw in my 6-hour-long pre-recorded video course that you'll have for the rest of your life, and also give you 3 months free in my Discord community, where you're also going to be able to access further mentorship sessions, but as a group. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Like, subscribe, comment, and share. And if you want to join with that final 25% off slot, message me through the links in the description over on twitter.com. Cheers, guys.